Okay, so today we got another official guide for Marvel Tōkon, and now it is for Wolverine. Very exciting because Wolverine is highly likely a character that most people want to play. Very popular, and it's great that he's back on a fighting game after Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So let's take a look at the colors. Oh my god, he has really good colors, man. I love the black and white one. Of course, the original is great. Nah, like, all the colors are good. I can't lie. Very good colors for Wolverine. They've been killing it with the colors overall, I have to say it. Like, there's good colors for every character. Okay, so the normals do look a bit stiff. At least the light normals. They look like nothing too crazy. Like, for example, that Stand Light, it's actually probably one of the worst Stand Lights until now. Unless it has like a very extended hitbox in the top of the feet. It looks a bit short. Then the light one, you know, the crouchy light. Yeah, it doesn't have that much range. It is like, it looks shorter than most of the other characters. So maybe his light normals are not gonna be, you know, super crazy, but that doesn't mean that they're super bad either. Probably just, you know, decent and that's it. Then the M normals, this one's pretty good actually because he has a dash and, you know, the actual claws, so it has decent range and it is pretty quick. It is a good stand medium. Then the crouching medium, decent range, nothing crazy, but pretty quick as well. So it seems like he doesn't have, you know, super big range, but relatively fast normals. Like, his normals are really quick. Yeah, the same with the, you know, stand heavy, down heavy. Very similar, yeah. So he doesn't have insane range again, but really quick, relatively fast normals, and it is, you know, everything that you need to just play a character like this that is probably gonna be more rush down style, you know, with armor and stuff like that. So let's say the first one is Berserker Claw. So it is almost like a Rekka. It essentially works like a Rekka style attack, and it gives him a buff. So as you're seeing right there, when you actually hit somebody with the Berserker finish or the unique, you actually get this kind of like install style of move, and after this, Wolverine has a ton of enhanced attacks, and actually I think he even has like extra moves. So like, it's going to be a basic goal for Wolverine as a character if you want to play him, to always get into this state, because this is the first version of Wolverine, when you have that red aura and you have all the buffs. You also have a dive kick. Holy, yeah, I love this move. Like, he actually has a claw dive kick. It's really cool looking. So this is gonna be probably used to play neutral, like in the mid range. And so, since you don't have, you know, the biggest normals in the world, you can, for example, call an assist and do the dive kick in the face of your opponent and cut the space, and you can even cancel it. Okay, wait, there's a lot going on there. What's happening? So first we get that we can do dive kick into unique again. So he has like a follow-up after the dive kick gets a hit, and you can probably call an assist here to extend the combo, and you also get your install. You know, he gets the buff with the red aura. Then we show this. So it says, okay, so these are the versions of the Berserker finish with and without the rage, which is the install or buff mechanic that he has. And you see that without rage, he does 5 hits, and then it just ends, right? Like a regular Rekka. But when you have the buff, it is 7 hits, and it counts a ground bounce. So that means that every time that you have Berserker Rage or the, you know, red aura buff, you have a free combo from any, you know, interaction with the Rekka on hit, with the Berserker finish or the unique. So when you have the buff, it is essentially a combo starter and also a combo extender move. So really, really strong change because it gives you a ton of more damage, of course. And the same with the other one. So you can also get a ground bounce from the dive kick. So every time that you essentially have your red aura buff, or like the Berserker stayed with the buff, you get a real full combo from either the dive kick or the Rekka in the ground. Then we have another unique, which is Berserker Maul. And this, I think, is an overhead. Yeah, this is an overhead attack. And it does activate like the Berserker Rage or buff on hit. And it does say that it can be used as a follow-up after Berserker Claw or Berserker Dive. So you can connect like the other attacks into this overhead, but maybe, you know, people can mash in between. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can do it on block and always be safe. So people can probably, you know, like do a down heavy here. If they see you do the overhead and follow-up on block, and they get a full combo from this because they get the cinematic, you know, anti-air attack. So it is going to be strong to have an actual overhead from any of your special moves in the unique button, but that doesn't mean that it's safe. And if you get the hit on the overhead, you also get the Berserker Rage or the red aura buff. So, and yeah, you can do the same, you know, with the dive kick and all of that. So you can essentially always do like any of these special moves into an assist and then the overhead. And wait, over here we see that he does another style of follow-up. So if you hit the overhead and you have the rage already, it actually gives additional hits from the overhead. And it does look like you can combo from this. Like, highly likely you can actually get a combo from the overhead in this situation. So really strong, you know. It is essentially showcasing, like I said before, that if you want to play Wolverine, it's everything about the Berserker Rage. Like, you need to get that buff. It makes the character significantly stronger. Then we have Berserker Sweep, which is another of the uniques. It is essentially like the same style of special move, but from a low. And you can either do it as a starter or as a finisher on the dive kick or the Rekka. Okay, amazing. So he has a mix-up. He has like an integrated mix-up from all his uniques, because he can either finish every single unique in an overhead or a low. It's actually pretty strong, and of course you can also do it at the start. And if you have the rage, it also gives you a ground bounce and a full combo route. Really strong, sorry. Like, it looks like Wolverine is going to be actually a decent mix-up character. And then you have Berserker Charge. Yeah, this is essentially like your armor move. You're going to use it when you need to have armor with the character. And if we take a look, I don't know if it changes when you actually have the range, like, because you do the move and you get the buff, right? You get the Berserker Rage from actually doing this back unique. And it does say that it has armor, but... Wait, it says it can endure any attacks and that can be blocked from part way through the action. And you can hold the button to have like a ton of more armor. Oh, okay, so... Okay, for a moment I thought that you needed the Berserker Rage for this attack to have armor, but the way that it works is that you always have the armor, and if you have Berserker Rage and you do this like armor stab with the claws, you just get a full combo. You actually get, you know, an entire ground bounce like with the other follow-ups. So again, it's going to be extremely important for you to get that buff state or the Berserker Rage. Then we have X-Force. This is essentially like a projectile. Up close, it does have a hit before the projectile, and he can do it in the ground and in the air. And also vertical. So this is very interesting because for a character Wolverine, historically, he doesn't really have zoning or any like neutral control tools. So the fact that Wolverine in this game has a projectile is really, really cool. And you can use it both in the air and in the ground. So it is a pretty decent projectile. It's not like he's going to be a zoner or anything like that. But it is really strong that he can do it, you know, in the ground, in the air, and also on vertical interactions. And then he also essentially can like deal with the opponent's fireball on a really, really decent way, because he can do the first hit of the fireball to stop the enemy's fireballs, and then he throws his own attack. So really strong, actually, neutral control for Wolverine. Then Furious Shred. Okay, so he has like a DP style move, but it's not really a DP. It is mostly an anti-air. Yeah, like most of the other DPs in the game, they work for anti-airs, and you're also going to use this a ton for combos. Like, this move is probably going to be a staple part of Wolverine's combo routing, because if you take a look at the move again, you see that he actually makes, you know, the characters spin in the air when he hits them with this attack. Now, I don't know if you need any conditions. Like, for example, you might need a counter hit. You might also need the EX move. So let's take a look at that very quickly again, because you're going to use this move more than you think for combo routing. So in the normal version... Oh, the characters do spin, even with the normal version, but maybe it needs to be in the air. So, yeah, you can do full combos from this, even if it's not the EX one. But it seems like you can do, you know, full combos from this if it is in the air and meterless. But if it's grounded, you do need to do EX. That's what I'm understanding. Really strong, actually. It's going to be your bread and butter, like, combo extension. And then we have, yeah, Eviscerate. This is also kind of like for combo routing, but it also has armor. I do remember that from old footage. So you're going to use this combo, this move, sorry, a ton for your combos. And also sometimes in your pressure, if you believe that people are going to mash in your block string, then you can do this, right? And if you do this near to the wall, you actually get a wall transition and all of that. It also looks like you can get a ground bounce from it, because it has a follow-up. Yeah, so if you do the follow-up with the light version, you just get a combo ender that can give you a wall transition. And then if you do this Eviscerate move into medium or heavy, it actually causes a ground bounce. So it is a meterless combo extension if you can get the medium or the heavy version. Yeah, really strong, pretty good. It's also going to be a part of your, you know, a stable combo routing, and it also causes a wall stick, so you can use it to extend combos as well when you have the wall. So that's going to be kind of like the entire gameplay of this character. You have all the moves, you know, You have all your moves to get your buff, to get your Berserker Rage. You have a mix-up from all those options, which is low overhead, and then you also have an armor move, and then you have two moves that are your like weird, diagonal dive kick attack, which is your combo extender, and the other one that we just saw, also for combo extension and some block strings. And then he has this leap attack. This one works, or it looks mostly like you're gonna use it in combos as well, and maybe in the mid-range to like neutral skip. So for example, if you have your assists, you can do stuff like call an assist, and at the same time you do this weapon X attack, and it can work to make it safe, because I don't know how exactly minus it is on block, and then you run your offense in the face of your opponent. Or sometimes you're probably gonna use this to cross people up, because it has like this weird, triangle form. So if you do it on a relatively close quarters, you can probably cross people up with this. So yeah, he has a pretty complete moveset, but of course very rushdown oriented. He wants to be in your face and mix you up, or just use the armor, right? Okay, decent assist, nothing too crazy. And the unique is the armor move into the Rekkas. Yeah, like, if you want to play Wolverine, you probably want to play him as your point character. It doesn't look like he has insane assists. At least he does have a fireball. Like, I'm pretty sure that attack is actually the fireball, and, you're not seeing the fireball because he's too close to Cap and just disappears. Unless it is just the slashes, but no, it says unleashing a projectile. So yes, the first assist is a fireball, so I guess that if you want to play Wolverine as your assist, the probably best option is putting him as the first assist. Then you have the anti-air one. It's probably not as good as some other characters, because other characters have a bigger anti-air that also, how can I say it, seems a bit bigger in terms of angles, so it's probably going to cover more space. And then you have the armor move into Rekkas. So essentially like a combo extender unique attack, and then the actual dive kick in the air assist. So Wolverine doesn't have bad assists, but there's characters that have better ones. Then, okay, level 1. Nothing too crazy. You can do it in the ground and in the air, right? It's for more damage, like with many of the other characters. I don't think he has any hidden mechanic in the level 1. Maybe he does in the 100-meter super, though. Let's take a look at this. Very cool super, by the way. Yeah. So, does he have any... Yeah, he ends with Berserker Rage. Yeah. So, essentially, if you have the meter to do your 100-meter super and you get the cinematic and all of that, after that, you get your buff that you get from the special moves that we were talking about at the start. So, most of the time, you're going to have a great turn after your level 3 Wolverine, because you're going to have the buff versions of all your Rekkas and attacks. It's actually quite strong. It's a pretty good buff, because that is the game plan of the character. Like, the entire playstyle of Wolverine in this game is going to be to get that Berserker Rage installer buff. Yeah, just the auto combos. Then let's look at the combos. Okay, very simple actually until now. We're gonna, then watch it on slow-mo or pause it. Okay, very nice. So it is nothing too insane. Like, for example, he does a stand M, I think. Yeah, stand M into down M, right? Then stand H or stand heavy. Then he jumps into like M. I think it's medium heavy, jump medium heavy, right? Then he does one of the combo ender or combo extension moves, but since there is a wall, he gets the wall stick from it. And after the wall stick, he actually has time to do that diagonal like style of dive kick that he has, and it does cause a ground bounce. If we take a look at it, it is like a meterless combo extender move. Then he does down heavy into some normals, right? Into EX, anti-air attack in the air, and then dive kick to end the combo with an extension by the end. Yeah, very good. Okay, this combo looks a bit more crazy, but it does look like, Wolverine combo routes are gonna be relatively simple. Okay, nice. And since, yeah, he can do level 1 in the air. Let's take a look at that again. So he's doing dive kick from the air, right? And then dive kick into follow-up, but also calls magic to extend the combo. Then he gets the Berserker Rage state, because he has time to get the install because of the assist from magic. Then he does a stand heavy, down heavy, jump into like medium heavy, jump medium heavy, then EX anti-air special move into dive kick, which causes a ground bounce for the combo extension. And from the dive kick, he actually does the follow-up into the Rekkas, or the follow-ups from the Rekkas, because you can do it from the dive kick in the air as well. And since he has the Rage already, he gets a full combo extension from it, right? Full Rekka into actual extension in the air. Yeah, very strong. So you can cancel what it seems to be like the Rekka from the dive kick if you have the Berserker Rage into normals in the air, and then he extends the combo into the level 1. Really cool combo, actually. Okay, that's what I thought before, yeah. Relatively similar combo, but he does more crazy stuff with assists. Yeah. And then level 3. Let's take a look at that final combo. Wait a second, there's a lot going on. Okay, yeah, that's the end of the second one. So he does Stand M, Stand Heavy, into Rekka series, right? Rekka series into the follow-up of the overhead that he has from that, and he calls that danger to extend the combo so that it doesn't drop while he gets the Berserker Rage state or buff. And then he does another Rekka. He doesn't even like walk to do a normal, no. He does another Rekka right away into a low follow-up. And since he has the Berserker Rage, it counts as a ground bounce, and then he does his anti-air attack. And from the anti-air, you have time to extend the combo. So he does anti-air attack into a couple of normals in the air. Stand M right in the air, or medium into heavy. Then he does the projectile. I think that's his projectile. Yeah, like M heavy, yeah, medium heavy in the air into the actual projectile, and calls a storm to extend the combo from the projectile into another special move that gives him a wall stick. Really, really cool combo, actually. And then he does this weird, like, triangle style move that he has into level 3. Yeah, really cool combo routing. It does look, though, like Wolverine is going to have a relatively more straightforward combo routing, at least for the first layer of the combos, in comparison to other characters, which is good, because, like, you want to make Wolverine not a super crazy hard character to play, because he's one of the most popular characters in the game. So a lot of people that are newcomers will probably want to pick Wolverine up. So very, very cool. Super, like, cool character overall, because he has a very specific identity, you know? It's all about the buff, all about the Berserker Rage, all about getting your mix-up up close with the armor also. So a very, very kind of like defined gameplay identity. Yeah, very, very cool. So thank you for watching. You know, we're going to get more breakdowns on the channel. If you enjoy the Marvel Tōkon content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing, and see you on the next breakdown. Take care.